Welcome to a hump day edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com, and ProChargeEV.com. All right, we will say some good mornings here in just a quick second. NFL draft deadline came and went. John Emery is, in fact, returning to LSU. I think that's fantastic news for LSU. Brian Kelly always kind of wants that thunder and lightning back combo. And John Emery, as we kind of talked about, is your explosive back potential. And when you kind of look at it for next year, for 2023, look at the production that you're returning, right? Look at the production you're returning for next year. You're returning your starting quarterback in Jaden Daniels, your backup quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier. That's not what I want. That's what I want. You're returning Daniels, Williams, Kane, Emery, Goodwin, your top 5 leading rushers. And then Neighbors, you're losing Booty, but Taylor, you're losing Jure, Brian Thomas, Kyron Lacey, losing Jack Bash. So you are losing a lot in the receiving core, but you're getting back Neighbors, Mason Taylor, Brian Thomas, Kyron Lacey, and you're adding some talent as well. So you're getting a lot back on that offense, man. And I don't even know so much that losing. Well, Keyshawn and Jure are obviously very good players, very dynamic players, but you've certainly recruited exceptionally well at receiver, and you should have just really an opportunity for other guys to step up there. So that's exciting, man. A couple other things going on. LSU basketball back on the floor tonight against Auburn. Tigers are going to be a pretty significant favorite, underdog. LSU is going to be a pretty significant underdog tonight. And the Pelicans are back at home against Miami. So both the Tigers and the Pels play tonight. Pels get a home game, then they're back on the road for 2 more. Pels are actually 2.5-point dog in this game. So shorthanded against a Miami team that's 3 games over 500 on the season. Been not terrible on the road, but Pels have been really good at home. See if New Orleans go get this game. Okay, so good mornings here. Y'all know the drill. Fire away, questions, comments. Hit me up. YouTube, please smash that like button. Subscribe up to the channel. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. Ryan Amanda Gidry, what's going on? Mark, well, the number 1 team in college basketball won last night in New Orleans. I guess Houston was there at Tulane last night. Chase Pellegrin, good morning. Brian Wynn, Ronnie Duga, Devin Kelly, Zach Swan, Jason H. Morning, Matt. Did you get the patent leather pandas? I did. So yesterday there was Nike's doing 3 days of drops on their app. So yesterday I got 2 pair. I got the Jordan 1 lows, the black and white, the patent leather, and the true blue, gray, and white lows, which are gorgeous. I'm looking forward to them coming in. 9 days away. And tomorrow I'm getting the Panda Dunks for me, Andrew. Tim Gotro, Leon Williams, Reed Rule, good morning. Scott Fontenot, love to hear Emery's back. Big deal for the running back room. Yeah, and, I don't know what changed there. I think I shared with y'all, around the bowl game, the staff, their opinion was, they were of the opinion John Emery was leaving. And who could blame him? 4 years, go on to the next thing. Excuse me. And they were looking at the portal for backs. And then we saw the deal that John did with Gordon McKernan. And so I reached out to Gordon. I said, hey, is John coming back? He's like, yeah, that's what he told us. So, I guess maybe a week, 10 days, whenever that was, that he made that announcement. It was kind of about when he made his decision he was going to stay. So it's great for LSU. Trivia Carter, good morning. You won that chest day. All right, man, go get it. Patrick Ramos, morning. If LSU men's basketball isn't going to make the postseason, does the NCAA give them a 2-year postseason ban? I don't think so, Patrick. I think you can look at. I think a lot of times you try to look at precedent for punishment, and I think, like, you look at Cincinnati, for example. I think that's probably what LSU gets. It's a postseason ban and probably some scholarship, limitations. But you never know. I mean, NCAA can do what they want. There are no checks and balances. And hang on, it's driving me crazy. Lost my train of thought. I need some coffee. Oh, and really what they wanted was Will Wade. They just wanted their pound of flesh with Wade, and they got it. They'll hammer him with a show cause, a long show cause, and hopefully they let LSU off a little easier. Brad David, does Richard Condon act the same way in real life as he does on air, or is it all an act? So I would tell you, Brad, that everything Richard says on air, he absolutely believes. He's not fabricating opinions or anything like that. How he delivers it, I think he does ramp up for the show. But the opinions, the mindset, the personality, that's all Richard. But if you get into like a crowded room at a party, he's not going to be the life of the party. I mean, he would be a wallflower. He would kind of just like find a spot in the back of the room, sit quietly, and then duck out early. Kyle Milliken, Morning Matt, has the NCAA passed the thing where they're limiting how many times a kid can transfer, or is that just talk? So that is already a thing, Kyle. Like you only can transfer once and not have to sit out. If you transfer multiple times, then you have to sit out. What they were talking about, Kyle, was players who were trying to transfer for a second time. You would have to get a waiver for immediate eligibility, and they were granting those waivers easily, essentially. So what they were talking about, Kyle, was making that waiver process much more difficult. Whereas it felt almost like guys were just getting a blanket waiver to be eligible immediately. And that's what they were talking about changing. Cody Kibido, Morning Matt, can LSU still accept commitments from transfers after the window closes? I know at this point they wouldn't be able to participate in spring practice. So, Cody, the answer is yes. The window, it's a good question, and I think there's some confusion there. The window is for players to enter the portal. Once you're in the portal, you can choose your destination at any point. You do not have to pick a school within that portal window. The window is just a time frame in which players can enter the portal. So yes, players can enter the portal whenever. And please also keep in mind, you said that they wouldn't be able to participate in spring. Remember, there's a day where the semester starts, but then also you have a window to enroll. So like it's usually whatever the drop date is, right? If it's 2 weeks in the semester, whatever, where you have to drop a class by this date if you're going to drop it and not count against as a failing grade. So you do have until then to enroll. There's an enroll by date that students have to be enrolled. Eric Wilder out of Morning Matt, with the COVID year and a redshirt year, Emery actually has 2 more years of eligibility. No, Eric, because last year, because he was suspended, that eliminated a year of eligibility. That wasn't a redshirt year. Um, uh, because, and remember, he played in 19. So 19, you scrap 20, 21, 22, that was 3, so he's got 1 year remaining. I mean, technically, I would think maybe he could use a redshirt year, but then he wouldn't play. But so maybe he would have 2 to play 1 essentially. But when you're suspended, that removes a year of eligibility. So he's only got 1 more. Joey B19 is this year the deepest the SEC has been in baseball. D1 rankings came out 4 of the top 5, 7 of the top 10. Joey B, I think. So my short answer to that would be no, because that's the case every year. Like, for example, let me look at last year's preseason. Okay, so last year, D1's top 25 preseason. All right, Texas was 1. Then it went Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Ole Miss. So 4 of the top 5 were from the SEC. Then LSU was 8, Florida was 9. So 6 of the top 9 last year were SEC. And then you had Georgia at 16, Tennessee at 19, and that was it. So I know it kind of feels like, oh man, that's crazy. But that literally happens every year. All right. As always, shout out to Brock L. Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. You need orthopedics, you know the drill. Go see our friends over at Brock. Their primary location right there on Bluebonnet inside of the Surgical Specialty Center. They're the best. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. We got Hudco pinned in the chat. Love to give you that free, no obligation roofing inspection. If you got a roof issue, give us a shout no matter how big or how small. HudcoRoofing.com. Restored Motions, got pain. Book a session, restoredmotions.com, restoredmotions.com. And ProCharge EV, state of Louisiana, about $80 million in federal grant dollars to improve EV infrastructure. Maybe you're a business owner. You want to install EV charging stations at your business. You can do it. ProChargeEV.com. Brant Roban, what's going on with Napier at Florida? My Florida friends are very skeptical. Yeah, so apparently with Jaden Rashada, their quarterback commit, who's asked for a letter release from his LOI. Apparently the Gator Collective had promised him a certain amount of money. The direct deposit didn't hit, and so he's like, yeah, I'm not coming. Oh well. Kelly Presley, good morning. Did you hear about the NIL issues at Florida? There you go. Hey, Dad, good morning. Brian Penton, good morning. From Big D, then headed home. Okay. Ronald John Elias, any word on Howard transfer school? Yeah, I mean, Ronald, I spoke about this yesterday on AFR. I talked to Jamie yesterday for about an hour. He called me, and he didn't mind me disclosing that we talked. I think more than anything, he just wanted people to understand, because there's a lot of false narratives out there. Now, I'm not a mouthpiece for their family or a spokesperson for the family, and I'm certainly not going to tell anybody how to feel about the whole situation. But I think mostly the situation with Jamie, to me, confirmed a lot of what we talked about, was that Walker's not just looking for an opportunity to start, and that wasn't what the expectation was for this year at LSU. It was he was going to sit a year at LSU, which we all knew, and then he wanted the chance to compete. But when both Jaden and Nussmeier came back, that opportunity wasn't there. And when you're taking scout team reps and basically just giving the defense a look, are you really improving? And I think that was the issue for Walker. And I'll also tell you that Jamie let Walker make the decision. It was not. He's not one of those dads that's pushing his kid to do this or that. So, you've seen all the crystal balls or whatever, and Ole Miss is the very likely destination. I suppose it could change, but it's basically Ole Miss and TCU. Jamie did tell me that about a dozen or so schools called, and obviously some in the SEC, and suffice to say, there were significant NIL offers. that he passed. So this was not an NIL decision either. But I think obviously Ole Miss is the lean and what everybody's talking about. And I think he is going to end up at Ole Miss, by the way. And I don't think that's breaking news. I mean, everybody's reporting it now. But or crystal ball, lean, whatever. But the thing about Ole Miss, y'all keep this in mind. Ole Miss is still recruiting Spencer Sanders, and I talked to some of my buddies who cover Ole Miss yesterday, and they are still recruiting Spencer Sanders, the Oklahoma State transfer. And so if they get Spencer Sanders, now all of a sudden you have Spencer Sanders, Jackson Dart, your incumbent, and Walker Howard coming in. In that situation, Walker's basically the same situation being at LSU. So that makes me wonder. And again, I'm speculating here. I do not know this, but if they do get Spencer Sanders and Walker Howard, does Jackson Dart leave? I think there's a good possibility that could happen. Chris Andrapon, good morning. Brant, funny mention Richard Condon. My dad used to hit the gym with him at Don's gym back in the 90s. That's funny. Bubba Smith, Darren Bone. Who do you think takes them out on opening night? It's going to be Paul Skeens. I mean, barring something dramatically unforeseen, Paul Skeens will be your Friday night guy. Kelly Gross, Charlie Cavell, good morning. I don't think people understand. Like, I know last year, I know for a lot of fans, Paul Skeens is a name you probably don't know or didn't know until he came here. But LSU last year on the mound, pitching was such a liability, especially starting pitching. It's going to be a dramatic 180 this year. I think LSU will have the deepest staff in America. Go back. Who was that? I think it was Chris, maybe. It was Darren. I'm sorry. Darren, go back and listen to AFR yesterday. 4 o'clock, start of hour 2. We talked to Kendall Rogers from D1 Baseball. And that's a guy that covers the entirety of college baseball, like literally better than anyone. Kendall is like the Adam Schefter of college baseball. Like, he's the guy. Listen to him talk about the LSU pitching staff. If you want validation, someone from outside of here talking about the staff, go listen to that. It's on LSU Daily podcast as well today, if you want to check out LSU Daily. Kelly Groves, Charlie Cavell, good morning. Let's see a couple more. Reed Rule, what's Brandon Ingram's deal? I don't know, man. 8 weeks for toe injury. I'm with you. Dane Bergeron, what's up, Leon Williams? I heard the Chargers fired Joe Lombardi. Bucks fired Leftwich. Should the Saints go after either? I would say no, especially not Lombardi. I don't think you want to go the retread down the Peyton the Peyton tree again. Like, carve your own path, do your own thing. It just doesn't need to go that way. Taz, is next season make or break for Dennis Allen? I don't know, man. It certainly feels like this. Miss Benson and obviously Mickey Loomis are going to be loyal to him. So how much rope does he get? I guess it depends how the season goes. Taz, could you see Loomis making a blockbuster trade move to take a quarterback? No, because they don't have the assets to do it. That's the problem. You don't have a first-round pick this year. So if you're going to move up into the top 5, presumably to take, Stroud or someone like that, what do you have that you can give up? You don't have, unless if you do like a Ricky Williams deal and you trade your entire draft. I don't see it. Larry Connor, Matt, I got a proposed trade for you. Pelicans trade back the Lakers draft picks for the next couple of years for LeBron James. No, and Larry, I don't think that the trade machine would allow it. Remember, trades have to be equal. You'd have to give players and cash and other assets as well. And at this point, what is LeBron going to give this team? Keith H. Morning Scone, would you kick it in today? Brown suede Air Force Ones, the high tops. I dig them, man. What y'all think? So I could get to stomping in my Air Force Ones. Big boy, Something in my earth. I keep it real dirty, and do how I do. Now I laid something, drop jelly beans. All right. Who it is? 7:58. Real quick. Lewis Mathern. Can we move for a 49 blueprint? Maybe, but you still have to get solid quarterback play. They don't have that. Eric Waterwater, Salisbury hinted at this, but at this point, do you think Peyton has become overrated for a guy with one Super Bowl? 20 million maybe seems nuts. I don't know that he'll get 20 million. That I could agree with. But is Sean Payton overrated? No. Jesse Post, Wendell Norman, Bailey C. When will GameCoin be on the public market? Should I buy now? It is public. You can buy GameCoin. I don't know if you're talking about when will the platform launch. The platform launch is still a Q1 of this year target. So, within the first 3 months of the year, still a Q1 target. Normal guy, Gregory Gordy, your fave 5-head morning scone from LA. I play the Hudco song for my little girl every day. She loves it. I love it so much. That's awesome, man. Thank you. Sean Payton and Tom Brady end up at the same place next year. Slim to none. Kevin Vircher, wish only the best for Walker Howard. Congrats to Kiffin if he lands Walker. I think it's going to happen. Got 4 inches of Colorado snow here. Wow. Rick Hess, good morning. Some person, Jason H. Matt, have you checked out the Nike Blazers? Already have a pair of Blazers. Yes, sir. I got a pair of Blazer SBs that I got at Ruckus. Clint, good morning. Shout out to number 3 Lady Tiger basketball. Hope they keep it up. Are you surprised we didn't lose pitchers to the portal with the stat being this deep? No. And they did, but I think roles will be defined. And it's about, for a lot of these guys, development. And I think the development, a lot of these guys, is what's going to surprise you. Saints to be on the phone to get Derek Carr if it's possible. It's possible, and I think it could happen. But the question is, how much more does Derek Carr have in the tank? Is he what Andy Dalton was when the Bengals kicked him to the curb? 9 years in, it's similar. Dalton went to the Bears and they cut him, and the Cowboys and they cut him, and the Saints, and he was a backup until there was an injury and he had to start. That may be the case with Carr. He may just be a guy in his early 30s who's seen his best days passing by. Gregory Gordy, nice kicks. How much did they cost? I got these shoes at the Nike outlet at Tanger for $45. Keith H., how bad will the loss be tonight? Auburn has struggled to score, and LSU's defensive buy-in has been impressive. So I think I really, really believe LSU can keep this game close tonight with Auburn. LSU will have to play one of its best games and find ways to score. But this isn't going to be one of those 40-point games like against Alabama. The spread is 5. The spread is Auburn 5. So let's see. Greg Lehman, OTB crew, making fun of you, Matt. So what else is new? Gregory Gordy, any suggestion for good whiskey for a starter? Yeah, I always suggest Elijah Craig Small Batch, Sazerac Rye, and Basil Hayden, the bourbon, not the dark rye. Those 3 are all $30 or less, thereabouts, and all are very different. So you try all of those, and you'll get a good sense for what you like. Okay, I got to go. Appreciate y'all so much. Von Bluesman, what's up? Y'all have a great day. LSU Daily is already live, so on your favorite podcast app, please check it out. Our Rosters to Riches episode for this week is live. It's with Jason Barrett from Barrett Sports Media. I think you'll really enjoy it. And AFR 3. And Scone and Tea tonight. Scone and Tea tonight from Rock Paper Taco on campus. So if you're getting out to the basketball game or you need a place to watch the basketball game, you can hang out with us at Rock Paper Taco tonight, the campus Rock Paper Taco on Chime Street. Okay, see y'all later. Peace.